Hello guys, so just a tip on how to use the new parent keyframe that was added to Unreal 5.1. So let's say I want to make a reload animation for my gun, or any gun actually, and I want to parent the magazine to my left hand. Of course, the included reload animations, I already have this. You can open them and go to the magazine control and you will see the parent constraint keyframes there. And if you go to the animations panel, in the constraint section you see the parent constraint there. But let's say I'm going to do a reload animation from scratch. Let's use the idle animation as a template. Let me first duplicate it so I don't lose the original. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drag my gun to the sequencer, and I can delete those two tracks because I don't need them, and I'm going to add a control rig track. Now we can use the control rig that is included with this asset right here, or we can use the FK control rig that comes with Unreal. And it doesn't matter, both rigs will work the same, the procedure is the same. So for this time I'm going to use the FK control rig. And first I'm going to move my left hand, select my left hand. You can see that my left hand control only has one keyframe. At the start I'm going to copy and paste it to the end. Now I'm going to go to frame 45 and move my left hand control as if I was reloading. I'm going to keyframe it. Now I'm going to frame 75. I'm going to copy and paste from frame 45 to frame 75. I'm going to about the middle, and I'm going to move my hand down as if I was reloading and place a keyframe here. Now I have this kind of prototype of a reload animation. So now I need to place a parent constraint that will start here at frame 45. The magazine will be parented to the left hand, and when we reach frame 75 the magazine must be unparented from the hand. So let's go to my gun rig, select my magazine bone. You can see that my magazine bone doesn't have any keyframes, and actually this is right now this is the easiest way to add a parent constraint in Unreal. It's when you don't have any keyframes on your bone or control yet. Let me show this first, and then I will show you the most weird way of doing this. So frame 45, remember, when I need to parent, with my magazine bone selected, I go to the constraints, click on the plus button and select parent. Now I need to choose who's going to be the parent for the magazine. It will be the left hand control. I click on it. Now Unreal places a keyframe here, if I expand this, I can see that not only there's a parenting keyframe here, but there's a bunch of transform keyframes. This is normal. Now I need to go to frame 75, where I will unparent this. To do this, I go here on the constraint panel and click here, and it will add the end keyframe. And it's already working correctly. I could bake my animation sequences right now, it would work. The only problem is if I don't place a keyframe at the start and one at the end, I might have some glitches the next time I open this level sequence file. So to be on the safe side, let's go to frame 0, keyframe it with all the transform values 0, and I'm going to copy and paste it to the last frame. Now we are safe, can save this, bake the animation, and it's working as expected. Now let me show you the weird way to do this right now. Is if I already had these initial and final keyframes before I added my constraint keyframes, like now, if I add a parenting constraint here, things would behave a bit weird, and I'm gonna show you how to fix that. Of course, the easiest way is to just delete these initial and final keyframes and add your constraint. But let's say you didn't remember that, and you had these initial and final keyframes here, and you placed, let me delete the old constraint. You just automatically came here and added a constraint. Don't forget to choose your parent. Now I have to go to frame 75 and unparent it by clicking here. Now you can see that it's behaving weird. On the beginning it's fine, and then right here it's interpolating from these values here straight to these values here, and it shouldn't. It should be the same value all along until here. How do we fix that? We have to go to the curves editor, and let me select just one curve to make it easier to see. This should be a square shape, and these keyframes should have 0 value, just like this. So first thing, I'm going to 0 this and 0 this, and now I need to flatten these tangents by clicking here, and the value of this keyframe should be the same as the value of this one. So I'm just going to copy paste from here to here and flatten out this tangent. Now this is the shape that we want. This is already correct. Let's just check this. 0, 0, 0, 0, and the same value here and here. So it's done for the X curve. Just have to repeat the same process for the other curves. It's the same thing. And let me go back to the X curve and show you another way to do this. It might be easier, because this way Unreal is placing 2 keyframes on the same frame, and this is not always expected. For example, if I start moving this keyframe here, when I release it, if I'm on the same frame as another frame already is, when I release it, Unreal will delete one of the two frames. You actually can't place one frame, you can place two keyframes on the same keyframe, because it will automatically delete. Actually, there's a way to do this. You just can't do this on the curves editor. You can go to the sequencer. Here are my two keyframes. I want to place this on top of this without deleting one of them, so I will drag this and I will hold Alt as I'm dragging. Now I can go back to the curves editor and see that there are two keyframes on the same frame. You can do that without going through this problem. Because you actually don't need two keyframes here. You can delete one of them. Also don't need two keyframes here. You can delete this, and here you can set this to be constant interpolation. You can set this to be constant interpolation too, and now you zero this like before. This is also zero, and this is another way to do this. This is the shape you want: straight, 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 and straight. I just have to do the same thing for the other curves. First, let's zero out this. Straighten the tangent. I can delete these. I can delete these. Constant interpolation here. Constant here. Zero this. Flatten. Now Y is done. Let's go to the Z location. I don't need this. I don't need this. This should be zero. Flatten. Zero. Flatten. This constant. This constant. Next curve, same thing. Don't need this. This is zero. Flatten. Zero. Flatten. Don't need this. Constant. Constant. Next curve. Zero. Flatten. Zero. Flatten. Don't need this. Don't need this. Now it should be moving correctly. All right. So that's it.